is what's happening here in Wisconsin affecting your budget debates back in D.C.?
Well, I can tell you all last week when we were engaged in 90 hours of debate on the continuing resolution, I had colleagues from across the country coming up. They're watching what's happening in Wisconsin. They came up to me and said, "You must succeed in Wisconsin. If not, my state is next." And that was people, those included people from Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Maine, Iowa. It was quite something. People very concerned about what will happen next if their right-wing governors and legislatures are emboldened by something in Wisconsin. So you must draw the line in the sand here. You must succeed.
I want to ask you a little bit about being an elected politician in these times. And by in these times, I think I mean the post-Citizens United era, after the Supreme Court decision that made it possible for so much anonymous money to come into our campaigns. We've seen good progressives like yourselves and others who thought they weren't ever going to be facing a tough race, Democratic incumbents, up against a mountain of money from anonymous outside sources. And some of them, Russ Feingold was lost in the last race, many more, huge fights against not really a candidate or even a party, but an anonymous corporation.
Right.
Can we make any of the changes that Americans who vote for you, for example, or many who watch this program want to make if we don't do something about the way that we hold elections?
Well, first I just observe that what you're seeing in Wisconsin right now is people rising up against those moneyed interests. And even though we're not right now in a campaign mode to elect certain candidates, we are in campaign mode to try to defeat this horrible legislation. And the Citizens United is, you know, they have ads up right now characterizing what's going on in Wisconsin. So we're fighting this this new you know, avalanche of money today, even though there's not an election, there's not a ballot initiative going on right now. And we're going to be fighting that all the time. And that's why I think it's so important that Wisconsinites in the tens of thousands have shown up and said it is people over money, and we've got to pull together if we're ever going to push this back. But ultimately, we have to do something to reverse the impact of the Citizens United decision. I think that transparency of who donates to these organizations is vital. We've got to pass at the national level and at the state level, things like the Disclose Act. We've got to do a lot more than that.
I can't let you go without asking you one question about federal politics, and that has to do with the attack on Planned Parenthood.
Yes.
I know you're a big supporter of a woman's right to choose, abortion rights in this country. What are we facing, and is this going to be an attack that wins?
Well, what we're facing right now is an effort on the part of Speaker Boehner and House Republicans to completely defund family planning, but they're not stopping there. They're going after the whole range of women's choices in reproductive health in multifaceted ways. So we're going to have to work on many different fronts. At least at the federal level, we still have divided government. We have a democratically controlled U.S. Senate. We have a Democratic president. And so there is still room to restore the funding, but whether we can get something reconciled through both houses, at what level of funding there'll be, remains to be seen. It's going to be a real struggle, and people need to speak out on this issue too.
It's kind of a subterranean part of the fight here in Wisconsin. Scott Walker is a pretty anti-choice guy.
About as anti-choice as you can get.
And I also understand he has in his sights the LGBT community, another community that's played a role in helping you have a constituency and getting you to this place. What's in store for them?
Well, Wisconsin, as you may know, was the first state in the country to pass anti-discrimination laws protecting people in the workforce, in education, in public accommodations on the basis of sexual orientation. That was back in 1982. We feel proud of that stature as the first in the country to do so. More recently, we passed a domestic partnership registry in the state that provides benefits for state workers and their partners. Those will be achievements that will have to be defended with great vigor. We are certainly going to be very vigilant about any attempt that our new governor has to peel those back.
All right, Representative Tammy Baldwin, Congresswoman from Madison, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.